right, guys, welcome back to the 21 Convention, back from lunch. Your next speaker up is Nick Sparks. He is a this is his fourth time, returning speaker to the 21 Convention. I first met him back in 2009, and I was blown away by his speech, one of the best that year, and every year since, of course. He is a head coach for The Social Man, one of the world leaders in dating and social skills development for men. And the title of the speech today is How to Hold Conversation Like a Man. Without further ado, welcome Nick Sparks back to the stage.
Fourth time being up on the 21 Convention stage. First of all, I just want to say I feel very fortunate to be up here, so thank you for having me again, Anthony. It's awesome. This is always the best. I always look forward to this event. I also feel very nervous. I don't know if I'm giving off signs of that too much, but I've been doing this a lot now in the past 3-4 years, but it never gets any easy for me. Whenever I stand up here, I'm still trying to hold back myself from shaking, but I will do my best. So, the title of my speech today is How to Hold Conversation Like a Man. It's not the most simple concept in the world to really define, to really explain, but I'll do my best. And I found, through trying to explain this concept, that one of the best ways that I can do it is to start off with a story that I think really highlights what it means to hold conversation like a man, what it means to be a man, take a masculine role in the conversation with a woman. Now, 3 years ago now, my first time standing on the 21 Convention stage, I opened up with a story and about me and a girl, which I thought was going to help illustrate some points and teach some things. And some of the feedback I got after that speech was along the lines of, oh man, this asshole's just bragging about some girls, like he sounds like a douchebag, this and that. And looking back, it might have been a little braggy. It might have been a little douchey. I admit that. So it's probably against my best self-interest to start with a story, but I'm going to go ahead and do it anyway, and hopefully I can try to keep the douche level as low as possible with it. I'll do my best. Thank you. So, let's see. This story starts out several years ago. I was in Amsterdam on vacation. Great place to go visit if you've never been. And I was staying in a hostel. I highly recommend staying in a hostel if you're ever traveling alone. It's the best way to meet people. You're always going to have other people traveling alone all over the world. Really interesting cats. Great way to go out, find people to go out and do things with. Highly recommend staying in hostels. So it was in this one particular hostel that I had met this lovely Romanian girl. Very sweet. Spoke good enough English. And met her, and it was, we were getting to know one another. We were all sitting around in a group. I was staying in a 15-person dorm room, which is about as big of a dorm room I've ever stayed in a hostel. And we were sitting around in a circle, me and a bunch of our other roommates. It was getting closer to the evening, and we were all just kind of sitting around getting to know each other. BSing, having some beers, having a good time, laughing. And the sweet Romanian girl, she was just sitting right next to me. And as we were talking, I was looking, we were flirting a little bit. She started leaning closer to me. She started nuzzling up a little bit, smiling, looking at me. And I thought, this is a great start to a vacation. This is perfect. I could not have planned this vacation any better. Welcome to Amsterdam, right? But of course, as fate would have it, as luck would have it, it's never that simple. Because as we're all sitting around, all of a sudden I hear some yelling. We look out the window, down to the courtyard. The thing is, just to make this clear, we're on the second floor. The window overlooked this courtyard. And directly across the courtyard was the all-male dorm. I was in a co-ed. This was the all-male dorm. And sure enough, coming through the courtyard, there were these 3 Norwegian guys yelling and screaming, beating their chests, super alpha. And of course, all the girls in the room go scurrying over to the window. What's going on? They want to go check out the action that's happening down in the courtyard. And the guys are yelling up, hey, making this big scene. The ringleader of the guys, the loudest one, the one that's talking the most, he pulls himself up. He grabs the window ledge, pulls himself up to it, carries in. The girl's like, oh my God, helping to pull him in, taking care of him. And he stands up, his friends come up, and he's just in the middle of the circle. He's holding court, telling all these stories, making all these jokes. Everybody's the focus is all on him. And I see my sweet Romanian girl starting to drift towards him as well, starting to lean forward, starting to look at him more in the eyes, starting smiling, looking at him. And I just think to myself, son of a bitch. There goes my beautiful, perfect vacation. Son of a bitch. I was not happy at all. I was not happy at all. And so it was at this point that I found myself at a crossroads. There were several different directions I could go. And there were several different directions I wanted to go. There were several different directions I was dying to go. My first impulse, the first reaction that I had, the first thing that I wanted to do, I think it's really common. I've certainly had it before, and I'm sure I'm not the only one. In fact, I would say we've all experienced this first impulse. And that first impulse was to just feel sorry for myself, get pissed, like kind of shut my mouth, kind of slink back in, think, oh, you know, screw this guy. Like, he's such a douchebag. Like, if she wants to be with a guy like that, fine, go. She can have him. I didn't really like her that much anyway. This guy sucks. These people are lame. I didn't even like him. I wasn't having a good time. Screw them, right? Hold myself back, feel sorry for myself, make excuses. This is my first impulse. And thank God, I started to do it. I started to shrink back when he first came in. That was my first impulse. I started to do it. Thank God I didn't let that happen for too long. Because what would have happened? I've done it before. We've all been there before. I would have said, screw these people, gone out to the bar by myself, right? I'll find some chick myself. I don't need them. I would have been in such a bad mood that I would have turned off anybody that got close to me. I would have ended up just getting hammered, stumbling home, passing out, listening to them banging in the bed next to me or something like that, and just think it was the worst decision ever. Luckily, I didn't go down that path. Luckily. My second impulse, the second action that I was desperate to take, and this one was hard for me to fight, because this is my standard MO. Like, whenever I'm screwing up in a conversation with a woman or in general, like, this is my biggest problem, right? And that second impulse for me, that second thing, like, oh, I'll know what I'll do. Here's what I'll do. I'll show this guy, was to say, like, I'm 10 times as entertaining. I'm 10 times as charming. I'm 10 times as funny. I can hold court 1,000,000 times better than this guy. Does he realize who the F he's dealing with right now? I'm Nick Sparks. Like, right? This was my next impulse, my ego. My ego. What? I can be funnier. I can be better. Me. Let me show everybody how hilarious I am, how much better I am than this guy. So that was my second impulse, to start like getting up there and trying to outdo him. Try to one-up his jokes, to one-up his stories, to try to be the bigger center of attention than he was. Thank God I didn't go down that path either, though. I know where that would have gone. I've been there before. I've done it before.